Just like we drew it up preseason, Florida State undefeated, winless, and Wake Forest undefeated at this point. And the offensive line for Florida State's going to have to play better, going to have to provide more holes. And Zeke Rodney up front, dude, big 93, eats. If you're watching him, this dude is eating people up against an offensive line that's been going up. He looks like a D tackle.
Yeah, he does.
And he is going to make himself known today. Watch 93.
All right, let's have a look at these winless teams in the country and find out which one does not belong. I know you could argue Baylor doesn't belong, but certainly Florida State on a list with the likes of UMass and UTEP, and Georgia Southern's got a great winning tradition too, but only recently at the highest level of college football. Now, the Noles run ranked for the first time in 6 years. They've got Wake on ABC at 3:30 Eastern time. Jimbo said no magic dust fixes this. Are they in trouble again today?
Yeah, they are. I think they're in trouble the rest of the season. And here's the thing with Florida State for me. It wouldn't have mattered if Francois played last week. That offensive line is still what it was a year ago. It's still, and the defense is still busting coverages. There's still a lot about Florida State that they got to get fixed. And Francois obviously would have made a difference. But they're not a great team like we talked about everywhere else to help that quarterback out. They're going to have to be great around him consistently, and they haven't showed that yet throughout the season.
I think when you lose a quarterback and you go from having an established guy who's maybe a Heisman guy to then going to a guy that's never taken a snap, I think it affects the defense as much as the offense, because that let's just hang in there mentality, I think softens a bit, because they don't know if they can really trust the offense to get back into the game. And this team that they're playing, Wake Forest, man, they're not bad at all. No. Dave Clawson doing a really good job there, both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think that they're in trouble the rest of the season, like David said. Just because Francois was such a, he was such a leader. And like you said, when you lose a leader, even though he's an offensive player, it affects your whole team. And he was a guy who could still make things happen offensively, even though the offensive line was very weak. he was a guy who could make, plays with his arms, plays with his legs. I don't know if you really can trust this young black man. These guys are 6'5", 165 pounds, and he's taking the pounding because the offensive line is so terrible.
Exactly. 165, you ain't gonna make it to the season if you don't protect him.
Exactly.
Pretty tough, though. Yeah, he took shots.
And they play Miami next week. So, just wanted to bring that up.